I'm the president of SEIU Local 105. I want to thank us all for being here today. Showing up in community is the first step. We're here today because working people in Colorado and across this country are under attack. This past week, we learned that Governor Polis here in Colorado, Colorado's very own Democratic governor, broke his own law by ordering state employees to hand over personal information of immigrant families and children to ICE. This isn't just a betrayal of trust. It's a threat to the safety of every worker, every family, and every community in our state. And today, we're here to announce that Colorado Wins, the union representing over 27,000 state employees, and Towards Justice, one of our state's leading civil rights organizations, are joining the whistleblower lawsuit against Governor Polis. This lawsuit demands accountability. It demands answers. And it makes clear that this kind of unlawful anti-immigrant collaboration has no place in our state. That's right. We are proud to stand alongside them and to show that the labor movement is united in this fight. Yeah. We are standing. You don't want me to go off stage today. Or maybe you do. All right, we'll see what happens later. We're standing. Colorado Wins is standing up. Towards Justice is standing up. And as of this morning, the Colorado AFL-CIO, representing workers across every sector of our economy, has also voted unanimously to join the lawsuit. That is the power needed in this moment. At the same time, in Los Angeles, we're witnessing that this administration ramp up mass deportations right in front of our eyes. Our union brother, SEIU California President David Huerta, was violently assaulted and detained by ICE while legally observing an immigration raid.
We don't stand for that.
We don't. He was doing what union leaders do, standing with workers, defending our rights. David Huerta, as we affectionately know him as Huerta, has ties to Denver. He's dedicated his time to come to Colorado and support SEIU members in our community. He has earned the respect and the admiration of our members simply by doing what he does, showing up and fighting for us and with us. David remains in custody today, and we're demanding his immediate release. Now, to speak more about the legal action here in Colorado taken and what's at stake, I'm honored to introduce David Seligman, Executive Director of Towards Justice.
My name is David Seligman. That's S as in Sam, E-L-I-G-M-A-N. I'm the Executive Director of Towards Justice, a nonprofit legal organization that fights for working people across Colorado against corporate abuse. I'm here to announce that we will be joining this case with whistleblower Scott Moss and pursuing claims against Governor Polis, asking the court to order him to comply with Colorado law. And to refuse to do the bidding of Donald Trump and ICE. We are deeply concerned by the allegations in this case. Allegations that the governor is prepared to comply with an administrative request from Donald Trump's ICE. Not a court-ordered subpoena, not anything that has received the imprimatur of judicial process. An administrative request from ICE. Hundreds and hundreds of people a year call us seeking help because their wages are stolen, because their boss told them that they don't have paid sick leave or family medical leave. Many of those people are terrified, whether or not they have documents. They've been threatened, their families have been threatened. A worker called us a few months ago and said his boss told him that if he asked for his paycheck one more time, he'd get a bullet in the head and a call to ICE. Donald Trump is doing the bidding of the worst bullies in our society. Those that seek to exploit working people, that seek to profit off of their labor. Donald Trump is doing their bidding. We cannot play Donald Trump's game. We tell the people who call us what Colorado law says, that they should feel comfortable filing their complaints with the Department of Labor, because Colorado will keep their information safe, because they have legal rights, because Colorado will not do the bidding of ICE.
That's right.
But the governor's cooperation with ICE flies in the face of Colorado law and basic principles of fairness. So why is the governor going out of his way to help Donald Trump and ICE? Why is he bending over backwards to do Donald Trump's bidding?
Because he's a sellout. Yeah.
Is it because he wants to be Donald Trump's lackey?
Yeah.
Is it because he is scared of Donald Trump?
Yes.
Either one is unacceptable,
That's right.
especially now when the Trump administration is detaining union leaders, stripping hundreds of kids from their families, raiding work sites to terrify working class people, and trampling due process rights. Let's be clear about what the Trump administration's immigration enforcement efforts are actually about and why the governor's cooperation is so concerning. This is not about keeping people safe. This is about punishing the working class. It's about making sure that this country has an easily exploitable working class, about making sure that corporate lawbreakers, the people that put Donald Trump in office, can break the law, abuse people, rake in billions, and get off scot-free. And we see that plainly. We see that plainly on the face of the ICE subpoena. It seeks information from the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment about people who have filed wage theft complaints or reported labor abuses to the state. It seeks private health records. It seeks earnings data. It is not interested in protecting anyone. It is interested in punishing people who speak out. This is not about the law, it's about cruelty. It's about profits. It's about ensuring that workers stay scared, stay silent, and stay exploitable. They want us to blame immigrants, working class people trying to achieve the American dream, because they don't want us to blame the billionaires and corporations that are stealing the American dream from all of us. So we're joining this case, and we're asking the court to order the governor to comply with Colorado law. We're asking the governor to stand up for us, the people of Colorado, not Donald Trump, not Stephen Miller, and not their billionaire backers. But we shouldn't have to wait for the court to act. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the time is always right to do the right thing. So, Governor, we're calling on you. Do the right thing. Refuse to comply with ICE's administrative subpoena. Protect Colorado's workers. Stop acting like Donald Trump's lackey. This is our moment. Let's seize it. The people up here, Governor, state employees, legislative leaders, working people from across Colorado, we are ready to fight to save this country, the country we love. Are you ready to join us?
We want to thank David and his organization for their courage. This lawsuit wouldn't be possible without the courage as well of workers who are directly impacted by this betrayal. The people, the very people Governor Polis ordered to carry out this unlawful action weren't just employees. Many of those were also union members. And I am proud to stand with and introduce Diane Byrne, president of Colorado Winds, the union representing 27,000 state employees and a part of SEIU Colorado. Let's give it up for Diane.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Diane Byrne, that's B-Y-R-N-E. I'm the president of Colorado Winds, the union that represents more than 27,000 state employees who make Colorado run. I am also the proud daughter of an immigrant. This weekend, the Winds board met and made the unanimous decision to join this lawsuit. Why? There are 3 reasons. First, because we have a duty of representation to our bargaining unit members. The governor's actions directly implicate state employees, our members, in breaking a law that he signed only a couple of weeks ago. That law that we advocated for, and which Governor Polis just signed, expressly states that state agency employees cannot disclose or make accessible, including through a database or automated network, personal identifying information that is not publicly available for the purpose of investigating for, participating in, cooperating with, or assisting in federal immigration enforcement. We advocated for that law because we steadfastly oppose the unjust and cruel ICE raids that are ripping apart our families, our communities, and our country. And we are outraged as state employees that our governor wanted us to actively support that assault on our community and make us, as state workers, accomplices in an illegal and morally reprehensible act. Second, we have signed on to this lawsuit because of what it means for the work that we do as public servants. The actions that Governor Polis has taken are undermining public trust in our state government services that we work so hard to keep strong. We tell people in Colorado that when they file their taxes, file an unemployment claim, and otherwise provide information to us, that it is safe, that we protect their privacy. Governor Polis has now undermined that public trust in our state government by making us a party to laying a trap to help ICE and the authoritarian administration.
All right.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Are we back in business? Yes.
Sounds like it.
Okay. All right. We're back in business. Okay. So Governor Polis has now undermined public trust in our state government by making us party to laying a trap to help ICE and the authoritarian administration driving their work. Yeah. And the third reason we're signing on to this lawsuit is because we need to know more. We want to know exactly who has been asked to comply with this subpoena. Where else is ICE trying to worm in? I want to thank Scott Moss for having the courage to stand up for what is right and fight By doing this, he has exposed something that we and all of Colorado may never have known was happening. And I want to call on the other leaders of our agencies at the state Medicaid agency, where I work, at the Department of Human Services, everywhere across our state, agency leaders, people in positions like Scott, find the courage to join him and be on the right side of both the law and history. Because everyone in Colorado and across our nation deserves to know that this has happened. We cannot let anyone hide being complicit in the illegal and cruel acts being unleashed across our nation.
Right.
When we acquiesce out of fear and comply with ICE, we allow the erosion of order and everything that keeps us all safe. Witness the assault against and the detention of SEIU California President David Huerta on Friday. I stand here as the president of Colorado Wins, SEIU Local 1876, to say that we condemn the assault against and imprisonment of David Huerta and call for his immediate release. David Huerta was doing what many union leaders across this country are doing. He was peacefully observing ICE and standing up for immigrant workers because he knows they are vital to all sectors of our economy. He knows, like we know, that removing these workers from our communities and workplaces devastates families and harms our local and state economies. I'm standing here today because we chose, like Scott Moss chose, to be on the right side of law and history. And we call on all elected officials, including our governor, and all working people to join us, expose these assaults on our freedoms, and defend immigrant communities who contribute so much to our communities and economy. Thank you.
This thing working? Okay, thank you, Diane, and thank you so much to the state employees, along with Scott, who have the courage that our governor up until this point has refused or just simply not had. The law that Governor Polis violated was written to protect immigrant families and to protect public workers from being used as tools for the federal enforcement. That law was championed by the immigrant community and carried forward by one of the strongest voices for justice in the Colorado State Legislature. Please join me in welcoming State Senator Julie Gonzalez.
All right, y'all, before I get started here, if you're an elected official who worked on this policy, I want y'all to come up to the front. This is not me, this is us. We all did this work together. Come on up. Also, y'all, come on up. This is all of us. Come join us. Come join us.
Immigration reform! Enough!
I want to say, yeah, I got some stuff to say, so give me a second, because I'm a little mad.
I'm right with you, girl.
Good.
Go, girl.
My name is Julie Gonzalez, y'all, and I am honored to represent North, West, and downtown Denver here in the Colorado State Senate. I am proud to have been a prime sponsor of two key bills at issue here. 2021's Senate Bill 131, concerning measures to protect personal identifying information kept by state employees, and 2025's Senate Bill 276, concerning measures to prevent the violation of the civil rights of persons in Colorado based on immigration status. Today, I'm here alongside elected officials from local governments, from state governments, union leaders, workers, everyday people. And I could not be prouder because, y'all, this is what Colorado looks like. What is happening in Los Angeles at this moment makes me both furious and proud. There is nothing more patriotic than seeing so many Americans, black, brown, white, Asian, Native, coming together and exercising their First Amendment rights to assemble and to fight against unjust enforcement, racial terror, and fascist displays of power. Fighting against tyranny, fascism, and injustice is truly America's history and our promise. Ahorita todos estamos en solidaridad con Los Ángeles. Here at home in Colorado, we are fighting threats to democracy and an abuse of power just as consequential for the rule of law and our Constitution. On the day that we heard Senate Bill 276 in its very first committee, I said the following: we've seen the Trump administration wield attacks against immigrants, regardless of their immigration status, with increasing frequency and with less and less regard for due process. Here in Colorado, we have no control over what ICE does or does not do. But here in Colorado, we do have control over what we do and what we do not do.
That's right.
And that's why Senate Bill 276 is so important.
Right.
Little did I know, y'all, that Governor Polis would apparently ignore his own advisors, his agency directors, and the very language he himself signed into law in order to bend the knee to a bunch of ICE goons who were too lazy to go and talk to a judge.
That's right.
Shame!
I'll be honest, I didn't see that one coming. I thought that Governor Polis would instead agree to abide by the rules that he himself put in place for civil servants, not once, but twice. 2021's Senate Bill 131 protected the personally identifying data of Coloradans from being shared by state employees for immigration enforcement. 2025's Senate Bill 276, signed into law just 17 days ago, for those of y'all who are taking count. Our bill this year extended those protections. Our bill in 2025 extended those protections to county and local government employees as well. Y'all, I don't know about you, but Jared Polis has broken my trust.
Totally. Yes.
Make some noise if Jared Polis has broken your trust too. Governor Polis has broken the trust of Colorado's civil servants. That's why you see both Colorado Wins and the Colorado AFL-CIO joining the litigation today. Governor Polis has broken the trust of Colorado community members, and their families, educators, co-workers, and friends. That's why you see Towards Justice joining the litigation today. Until Governor Polis admits that complying with an administrative subpoena from ICE that lacks any measure of judicial review is nothing more than textbook pretextual data mining and an absolute blatant violation of the law that he himself signed 4 years ago, the law that he signed 17 days ago, and the United States Constitution. Y'all, I want to know how Governor Polis thinks that he can continue to lead our party And I want to know how Governor Polis can continue to think that he can lead our state. It's a damn shame that the result of his petulance is that Coloradans are once again questioning whether or not they can trust the state to protect their private, personally identifying information. And honestly, if it weren't for the brave, the decent, and the moral, incredible, everyday people like Director Scott Moss. If it weren't for the state workers who make the state run for standing up and doing the right thing, I don't know if I trust the state either, y'all. And that's why I want to say thank you. Because your dedication and your commitment for when things get hard, your willingness to stand up and do the right thing even when it's hard, and especially because you know that it matters, means the world to us all. Thank you so much. As I close out, I just want to know, when Coloradans' rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When Coloradans' rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Sí se puede. 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 Sí se puede.
That's right. Again, I want to acknowledge everybody here today, whether you're standing here or standing here. This is what it's going to take to save our democracy and to save our country.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's happening in Colorado is not in isolation. It's part of a coordinated campaign by those in power, those who want to divide us by race, scapegoat immigrants, and distract us from the real threats in our community, which is corporate greed and political cowardice.
That's right. That's right.
When Governor Polis broke his own law to hand over workers' and families' personal information to ICE, he didn't just violate the public trust. He made every worker in Colorado less safe. He made public servants tools of a cruel and unlawful agenda. He made our own communities here in Colorado targets. At the same time, our union brother, David Huerta, remains in ICE custody for doing what any of us would do, standing up for our people.
Free David! Dave!
And let me be clear, this version, what's happening now, is their version of mass deportation. It's not just a political talking point. Workers being violently detained, children being separated from their parents, and entire communities living in fear. That is their goal. And we here today, we reject the politics of fear and division. Immigrant workers are essential to this country. We care for elders, we harvest the food, we take on essential roles in schools and in hospitals, we contribute billions of tax dollars to this economy. Ripping us from our workplaces and neighborhoods would not only be inhumane, it is going to be catastrophic to our economy and our communities. We need courage. We need courage from our leaders. We need them not to be complicit. We need them to be like these folks standing up here with us. We need them to stand with the majority of Americans who support a path to citizenship.
Yeah.
Not with those pushing the largest deportation in U.S. history. So here's what we're going to do today. We demand that Governor Polis reverse course, do the right thing. We demand the release of David Huerta. Release David Huerta. And we demand an end to ICE's raids and the terror and assaults that they unleash on working people. We will not be silent. We will not be divided. We are going to organize, we are going to resist, and we are going to prevail. And with that, we're going to open it up for questions from the press. Am I supposed to be the one to coordinate this?
Yes.
I'm looking for David here, or Carrie. Where's Carrie? Okay. You wanna? So David Seligman will speak on legal details about the lawsuit. We have Diane Byrne, who can address the impacts on state employees. Senator Gonzalez will answer questions about the law, and others can answer, including myself, around larger context, broader context, if we have questions.
Would it be possible to hear from Scott and tell us how this lawsuit came together?
Scott is not going to be commenting today. Thank you.
Probably a question is then, do you know, have other state employees or agencies had these similar subpoenas or been asked to comply with similar subpoenas?
Thanks. So the question was, have other state employees received these subpoenas?
Yeah, or been directed to comply with them?
Or been directed to comply? We don't know. So we do know that the subpoena went to at least 3 divisions within the Department of Labor and Employment, so CDLE. CDLE has 1,650 employees, and so within CDLE, it went to 3 divisions. Scott's division, which is Labor Standards and Statistics. Also the Department of Unemployment Insurance, the Division of Unemployment Insurance, and then also Family, the new Family and Medical Leave Division. Yeah. But yes, it's very important that we know more. We don't know if any other agencies received these subpoenas, and that is a big reason why we're joining the lawsuit, because we need to know.
This is probably for lawmakers, but Scott as well. Or anyway, you know, the defense earlier in today's hearing said that, you know, this subpoena complies with carve-outs in the law. Can you comment on that? For criminal investigation.
The question was that, just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, the question was what carve-outs were put forward in the legislation that...
And that the Polis's defense is that the subpoena and his request comply with those carve-outs.
Okay. So what I would say is that our intent as sponsors of both the 2021 legislation as well as the 2025 legislation was that criminal investigations would have the imprimatur of judicial review and judicial process, because that's how it works for every other law enforcement agency in the state. So don't come at me saying, oh, well, we want to protect kids, and we're willing to abandon both our morals and the state law that we put in place in order to bend the knee.
I'll also say that there is nothing on the face of the subpoena that suggests that this is related to a criminal investigation. It cites the civil code. It has not been through any sort of judicial process. It was not issued by a court and not approved by a court. There's nothing here to suggest that this is related to a criminal investigation. And it's unclear to us why the governor would be bending over backwards to try to find a justification that isn't there.
So it didn't say anything about human trafficking, child exploitation.
The subpoena suggests that ICE is somehow interested in protecting the well-being of children, that flies in the face of all of our experience here, right? Nothing that we have seen suggests that Donald Trump's ICE is out there to protect kids, right? And it's unclear why the governor would be deferring to Donald Trump's ICE in order to make that kind of assessment, right? What the federal government could have done is they could have gone to a court, right? They could have gone to a court pursuant to a criminal investigation. That's not what they did here.
I actually want to follow up on this question, and I see that there's others. If ICE were actually if ICE was actually interested in protecting children, they wouldn't have lost track of these children in the first place. We have seen right here in the Denver Immigration Court that there are people who are working to comply with everything that is being asked of them, including showing up to immigration court and thereafter being detained by ICE. We saw this happen just last week, where children, toddlers, a 6-year-old were detained. You want me to believe that ICE is in any way interested in protecting children from harm? If they had been, they would have gone and gotten a warrant. They would have gone and talked to a judge. They haven't done that here, and that's why there's so many of us here saying no.
Yeah.
You saw what's happening in Los Angeles, fascist displays of power. Are you worried that the National Guard could end up getting deployed here at some point, and do you think 276 could stop that in capacity?
Funny you ask that. Governor Polis actually asked us to put in a section to Senate Bill 276 to prevent other states' National Guards from being deployed here to Colorado. We have done everything that we can do, but what we have seen is that Donald Trump is willing to overrule local governments and state governments in order to exercise his will in order to try and create a spectacle.
Are you worried that they could come here?
I think everybody's worried. I think all Americans should be worried.
Yeah.
Yes. How can the governor continue to lead the state while doing what happened here? Is that your way of calling for him to resign, reverse his policy?
I want to know what Governor Polis has to say about that.
Is that your way of calling for him to resign, though, or not? When you said, how can he continue to lead the state?
I'll let him be the arbiter of that question. I said what I said.
Do you know why the Labor Department was targeted with the subpoena and not a different department? I know Labor has a lot of records on information on people, but why there and not somewhere else?
The question is why the Labor Department was targeted with this investigation and not other agencies of the state government. First of all, we don't know for sure where these subpoenas have reached, right? Which is one of the reasons that Colorado wins, is also making sure that all public employees across government understand that they have rights, right? That they too can speak out and they will have the protection of the union. What we can say and what we see, which is a repeated pattern from Donald Trump, is that he repeatedly uses immigration enforcement in order to protect corporate lawbreakers, the same people who put him in office. That is why a subpoena to the Colorado Department of Labor is especially dangerous, right? This is a signal to people that if you complain, if you speak out about exploitation, right? If you complain about your boss stealing from you, if you complain that you aren't being provided with paid sick leave, if you complain that your rights are being violated, that immigration enforcement will punish you, right? It is immigration enforcement in service of corporate profits and the profits of billionaires. And that's what we can speculate is the reason why the Trump administration would go after the Colorado Department of Labor.
And do you know why only 35 sponsors of the state was asked to turn over information about just 35 sponsors when there are many, many more sponsors?
I do not know. Towards Justice today will be joining the lawsuit as a plaintiff, and under state law, you can amend a complaint as a matter of right at this point in the case. I can't speak for Colorado Winds, when Colorado Winds will be joining the case and in what capacity.
Yeah, Colorado Winds is working with our legal counsel on the best method for us to join this case, but it is going to be coming this week.
¿Qué puede entender la comunidad en general de que el gobernador firma una ley para proteger sus derechos, pero ahora hay una demanda en contra de él mismo por violarlos? ¿Cómo la gente que está en su casa ahorita pensando que lo va a proteger aquí en un estado que se considera santuario, ahora quizás no? Y también qué piensa de las protestas de Los Ángeles.
Gracias. La pregunta sobre si la comunidad inmigrante puede tener confianza todavía en compartir su información privada con agencias estatales aquí en Colorado o locales también, ya que hemos firmado esta ley. Honestamente, el gobernador Governor Polis ha rompido la confianza con la comunidad al demandar que sus oficiales empleados del Estado cumplen con demanda de parte de los oficiales de ICE que no tenía nada que ver con una orden judicial firmado por un juez. Y por eso vemos tantas personas aquí demandando en forma legal y también levantándonos nuestras voces para decir que debe él cumplir con su obligación de construir y reconstruir esta confianza tan integral para nuestro estado. También los protestantes que están manifestando allá en Los Ángeles demuestran los valores americanos de resistir el fascismo y también para utilizar nuestros derechos constitucionales bajo la primera enmienda de manifestar y protestar en contra de las cosas que no estemos de acuerdo.
De parte de nuestros miembros en SEIU, local 105, y de parte de nuestros miembros en todos los Estados Unidos y Puerto Rico y Canadá de SEIU, necesitamos que nuestros gobernadores, nuestros elegidos y los trabajadores que trabajan con el Estado protegen a nuestras comunidades. Al momento, nuestros miembros aquí en Colorado no tienen confianza en el gobernador, y él va a tener que hacer mucho para llegar a otra posición en donde nosotros le tenemos confianza. Y también lo que está pasando en Los Ángeles sí puede pasar aquí. ¿Qué va a hacer el gobernador cuando Trump hable al National Guard aquí en Colorado? Si ni puede proteger la información de nuestra comunidad, ¿cómo nos va a proteger si mandan a esas personas aquí a hacer eso en nuestra comunidad? No le tenemos confianza. I'll translate. On behalf of our members in SEIU 105 and over 2 million members in this country, in Puerto Rico and Canada, we cannot count on politicians like our governor to keep us safe in this moment, and he needs to do a lot of work to build that trust back up. What's happening in Los Angeles can happen here at any moment. And as the senator said, our people are afraid that that is going to happen here. And if we don't have a governor who can protect our information, simple information that should be protected, that is in law, how are we going to count on him and the state to protect us from our own troops?
Sorry, this is Diane Byrne from WINS again. I had a follow-up to, I believe, your question about why they potentially targeted CDLE. So again, we don't know that they only subpoenaed CDLE, but one of the fears is that they targeted CDLE and requested this information to identify workplaces that they could raid in the future. And so in addition to compromising that specific data, that they would be making us as state employees accomplices in identifying future locations for raids. And I think that that's a really important thing to highlight.
How would they get workplaces to raid from personal information that those third-party sponsors?
So the question is, how would they get workplaces to raid? And so potentially the sponsors would be working in a location if they are, familiar with the undocumented community. They might be working in a location that has other undocumented workers, and so their work history, which was part of the information that was requested, their workplace history could lead to targets of those workplaces.
All right, I think we only have time for one more question. If we do it like this, or we can do some individual interviews. But
yeah, could you talk more about the sponsors? Just tell us who they are exactly.
Sponsors of
The subpoena population.
Oh, so sponsors are individuals who sign up to care for unaccompanied minors when, as they are navigating the immigration process. That's generally what a sponsor is. And so to try and request a bunch of information from CDLE, to me, is an indication that the Department of Homeland Security and its associated agencies has lost track of those kids. And so this to me seems to be a dragnet, cast a wide net and see what comes back.
And who are many of these sponsors? Are they just typical residents, your neighbors?
Yeah.
all right, thank you everybody for your time, for being here. We have time for some individual interviews if you need to. If you just want to come to me.